Before the beginning of the very beginning, beyond the constraints of existence itself, an all-powerful, all-knowing, and all-encompassing oneness that just was, in an effort to bring itself entertainment, sought to create other worlds, with space for them to occupy and time for them to experience events sequentially, along with 6 other attributes that later came to be known as the Great Holy Spirit and the Void. But this was incomplete. God was perfect, omniscient, and such. Couldn't be surprised, and for this problem it decided to create an avatar for itself, an imperfect existence of its own. A part of itself to experience the joy it couldn't feel itself, and that avatar was what would later come to know as the Creator God, Veldanava.
My wife has come back to life as Ivaraj. My daughter will be arriving soon. My family will be complete. Even if it's a fake family, it will fill the hollow in my heart. This world means nothing to me. They committed the gravest of sin, killing Lucia. I will destroy all the worlds to patch her fragments and recreate her.
In the collapsing cradle of creation, Rimuru Tempest stood against the one who shaped the world itself, Veldanava, the primordial god.
Narrowing his eyes slightly, he declared,
"Well then, let's get right to it. Shall we test how far you can follow the divine providence decreed by the gods?"
Those words served as the signal. What began was a sword dance between me and Veldanava. Our swords formed a severing space that sliced through anything it touched. No one was optimistic that Luminous would resurrect them if they died.
If you're doing all of this because of Lucia, wouldn't it make more sense to just reincarnate her yourself, Rimuru? The only threat to him asked. But Veldanava explained that it was impossible. Lucia's soul had already reincarnated into countless fragments across different worlds. Because of that, Veldanava found only one way to bring her back, by destroying all worlds themselves. Only then could he reincarnate Lucia into a new and better world in their place. He would destroy everything that he created. After all, that was his right.
With overwhelming authority, he severed the Manas tearing seals away from Rimuru Tempest in the middle of battle. For a moment, the world stilled. The ultimate analytical existence, the voice that had guided every evolution, was gone. Silence. CL laughed. Calm. Amused. Almost pitying. Rimuru stood, aura rising without hesitation, adapting instinctively to the battlefield. Veldanava felt something he hadn't in eons. Shock. Because even stripped of his manas, the slime before him was still evolving.
Oh, it looks like Veldanava was surprised too. Good. If I can even surprise the Creator God, then that's a big win for me. However, there was no doubt that this was a troubling situation. This is the biggest crisis situation we have ever faced. The reason is that CL isn't inside me right now.
And at that moment, Veldanava stretched forth his hand and tore Rimuru's soul from his body. The world froze. Time itself refused to move. Satisfied, the Creator turned his back, already preparing to leave. For what threat could remain once the soul was gone? Then a voice echoed behind him. "You think removing my soul is enough to kill me?" Silence followed. Power surged where nothing should have existed. A will remained, unbound by flesh, unbound by law. "I was a monster before I had a body," the voice continued. "I ruled before I had a throne." The soul did not fade. It multiplied. "You created life to obey the rules," Rimuru said. "I exist beyond them." Veldanava stopped. For the first time since creation, a god hesitated. "If a soul were enough to define me," the voice whispered, "then I would never have reached this far." Veldanava looked at me sharply and asked, "Why are you on par with me?" I answered without hesitation, "Because I'm strong. Yes, I am strong. That's what CL always told me." It was as if the world itself was waiting for the blade to be reborn. It became a Genesis weapon, the first Genesis weapon not created by God. The name of my sword has been decided, Hope or Elpis. the hope that the world will not end. I'm greedy after all. I put a great deal of meaning into the names Hope and Elpis. Elpis. I don't remember why, but that's a nice name to me. Well then, if you truly intend to destroy the world, I'll do everything in my power to stop you. Veldanava gave a thin smile. It was a strange feeling. He wasn't looking down on me at all. That smile held neither pity nor amusement, but pride, the pride of a creator whose creation, one he had never met, had taken up arms to protect all life. Poor, the life form I created has now come to defy the will of its creator so clearly. I am overwhelmed with emotion. Perhaps you could achieve the feat of killing a god. For the first time, his gaze carried something rare. Recognition. Thought did not anger Veldanava. It pleased him, because gods were never meant to rule forever, and a world that could not surpass its creator was a world doomed to stagnation. As Rimuru stood there, weapon in hand, Veldanava's smile deepened.
Elpis. It's a name I've only recently heard. A cheeky slime stood in front of me. The name is Veldanava suddenly remembered something. A conversation I once had with Lucia. What should we name this baby? When asked this question, Veldanava answered with a happy feeling. That's right. Wouldn't Milim be good? Wait a minute. Why had I forgotten? That was before Milim was born. Veldanava had certainly spoken another name. Now that I remember that, I'm convinced that it was all inevitable. I see, surpassing his parents had been achieved.
Quiet stillness before the world had shaken, Veldanava, the star-king dragon, gazed upon the fragile life cradled in his arms. A soul born not from flesh, but from pure possibility. A tiny spark that shimmered brighter than any star he had ever woven into existence. In that moment, even the creator of worlds felt something he had never known. Hope. He lifted the newborn, letting the radiance of creation wash gently across the small, formless body. You will be the light that guides the ages, he whispered, a rare warmth softening the voice of a god. And with that conviction he bestowed a name meant to carry destiny, rebirth, and endless potential. Elpis, the embodiment of hope itself, long before he would rise as Rimuru Tempest, before nations and legends, he was simply Elpis.
So the child of the creator was scattered, reborn far from divine eyes, hidden within fate's blind spot. With a human's death, a slime is born. The world shakes. That soul resurfaced as Rimuru Tempest, a seemingly harmless existence that evolved with every challenge, every victory, every kill, until the sealed divinity inside him began to awaken. This was never chance. This was the rise of Veldanava's heir, a god reborn in the body of a monster. In that case, only the forbidden technique remained. I had only ever intended to use this when creating a new world. It was the ultimate trump card, held in reserve for the most dire of emergencies. Heaven and earth destruction ruin. Initialize heaven. It destroys every existing world and initializes their reconstruction. Power truly fitting of the creator.
Ivaraj, dragon of destruction, begins absorbing everything, not eating but reverting things back into their original state. Veldanava understands he cannot escape. This is his punishment, the final consequence of all the mistakes he made. His loneliness, his selfishness, and the chaos he spread across the worlds. But then Lucia appears beside him. Hand in hand, they accept their fate together, as Ivaraj slowly pulls them in. Lucia comforts him. Veldanava's heart softens. He feels peace for the first time. It's okay, because there is hope for us too. Hope. Elpis. It's a name I've only recently heard. A cheeky slime stood in front of me.
As he was about to be assimilated by Ivaraj, Veldanava felt enveloped in happiness once again.
Rimuru ultimately defeats this combined, highly malicious entity. In a move characteristic of his character and powers, he consumes the defeated Ivaraj Veldanava fusion.
After Rimuru defeated Ivaraj, also known as Ivaraj, Guy Crimson declared his ascension. Rimuru Tempest was no longer merely a demon lord. He would stand as the great demon lord, the one who ruled above them all. Thus, the Octagram was dissolved and replaced by a new order, the Seven Luminary Sovereigns. Marking the end of balance, Feldway was never meant to stand beside anyone, yet the more Feldway watched him, the more the contradiction deepened. Rimuru wielded overwhelming power, and yet chose restraint. A villain who once sought to shape the world through obedience found himself drawn to someone who changed it through will. And without realizing it, Feldway stopped trying to correct Rimuru Tempest and began to follow him.
I want to create a world that's comfortable to live in, one that I can enjoy being a part of. A prosperous world where as many people as possible can always be smiling.
And you believe you can create a world like that? Can you really bring such a thing to fruition?
That's what it means to have power. Ideals without power are just a joke, and power without ideals is empty.